We've had this property, it's been in my family for probably close to 20 years now, and for the last 9-10 years, we've had numerous bears coming in. We've had game cameras all over our property here. We hunt, turkey hunt, deer hunt, and they started showing up, and it was one, then it was two, then, I mean, we've been up to 9 to 12 different bears coming into our property. And
yeah, so black bears were historically present in the state of Missouri prior to European settlement, but over time, over-harvest and large-scale habitat changes drove bear numbers very, very low, so driven locally extinct. That all changed in the 1950s and 1960s when Arkansas Game and Fish began a series of reintroductions in the Ouachitas and Ozark Mountains of Arkansas. And as that Arkansas bear population grew, bears began expanding into the state of Missouri, and over time, Missouri had its own bear population that began growing as well. And when we look at the genetics of bears in Missouri, it does seem that we had some remnant bears that hung on in the most remote parts of the state. But by and large, that population really began growing and expanding in the last several decades.
We enjoy seeing them. We've never had any bad encounters, never had any problems on our property. It's just really neat seeing them. I mean, it's kind of neat being able to go out in the woods and see a bear.
So bear sightings and reports of bears from the 60s all the way up through the 80s began increasing in numbers. In 2008, the department developed a black bear management plan that identified some key research questions. Where were bears in the state? What did bear numbers look like? And things like that. So within the 2008 black bear management plan, they had talked about the opportunity to provide a hunting season when the population was able to sustain that. So with the extensive research that we had done, we were able to look at the updated black bear management plan, the population levels at the time, and determine that our population, in fact, had reached levels where it could sustain a limited and very highly regulated harvest.
And I actually had people contact me once they found out that I actually drew a tag wanting me to come to their property and take a bear.
We knew going into this hunting season that it was going to be challenging for hunters. So we took a very conservative approach at how folks were able to hunt. So we did not allow the use of bait or dogs. We had a harvest quota that was in place. So if that harvest quota was reached, the season would come to an end for that particular bear management zone. Looking at the restrictive methods, the limited harvest quota, and the limited number of permits that were available, by and large, this was going to be a challenging undertaking for anybody participating in that season.
First morning, pretty excited because, they had the quota. I was worried about the quota. Not a lot of time to hunt with my job, so it was just hunt of a lifetime. So this is where it took place. There's the stand, obviously. The bear come around the side over here, the side of this hill up out of that hollow. All I could see was kind of a black blob over there, just kind of coming up through the brush, just moving real slow, just taking its time, and got up there and just stopped and look around and come out in the open, and he presented a good opportunity for a shot, and I took it, and he fell right there. Oh, it was absolute heart racing, just excitement, thinking, what's the chances of this? It was pretty amazing. One of the best hunts I've ever been on.
Meeting with Mr. Day was super exciting. He was the first successful hunter in this very first black bear season, so completely history in the making right there. Mr. Day took that bear on his very own property in a stand that I believe was his son's favorite deer stand. And so really exciting for him to be able to have that opportunity on his own property, and now to look at this season and down the road in the future that this is something that his kids can participate in and generations to come can participate in.
I will put in every year. Yeah. Me and my family will put in for every year, yeah. Looking forward to it, can't wait. Ready for it to be here again.